Hey, what's up gentlemen and ladies? Welcome to another Final Fantasy discussion, and today I'm going to be talking about most of the characters from Final Fantasy 15 and what the meaning of their names actually is, because for those of you that don't know, the majority of the things, not just characters, but things in general in FF15 are actually words in Latin. So without further ado, why don't we get started with our main character, Noctis. Now, Noctis by itself means night, which definitely does reflect in Noct's dark appearance and attitude. Now his middle name Lucis actually means light, so Noctis Lucis meaning night light, and his last name Callum meaning sky or heaven, Noctis Callum meaning night sky, which means that his full name roughly translates to light the night sky. And also, fun little Easter egg from Google, if you type in the words Noctis Lucis with a capital N and L into Google Translate from Latin into English, the program will say the words Final Fantasy, so that's a cool little reference there. Anyways, on to the rest of your party members. We got Gladiolus. Now, Gladiolus as a whole doesn't actually translate to anything, but the shortened version, Gladio, actually means sword. His last name, Amisita, means friend or friendship, so sword friendship? Actually, when you put in his full name, it translates to with friendship, so it's apparent that he has a lot to do with friendship, as he does seem to be the one that is the closest to Noctis out of the group, and sword does make sense because, well, he's a tank. Next up is Ignis. Now, Ignis by itself means fire, which once again fits the personality since Ignis is the mage of the group. He'd be the one more likely to cast magic spells like fire, etc. Now, his middle name, Stupeo, actually translates to something that I thought was pretty random, but astonishes. And then his last name, Scientia, is not really that hard to guess. It means science, because I guess he's the smart one of the group. But this is definitely one of the most random ones though. Fire astonishes science. Are you trying to say that fire beats science? So brute force beats careful calculations? Doesn't really fit with Ignis, but alright. And last but not least, supposedly everyone's least favorite of the quartet for some reason, Prompto. Now, Prompto in itself means ready, like in Italian, and his surname Argentia means silver, like Argentina. His full name actually literally translating to ready money, which is hilarious, especially when you consider the fact that he is the poor one of the group that didn't come from a high-up family like the others. In fact, it's been hinted that Prompto may have a really dark past, so I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it's definitely an interesting choice for the name there. And I guess to finish off the group, I'll go ahead and mention Core here, since his is not too complicated. Core means heart, which reminds me of Kokoro in Japanese, also meaning heart, which is pretty random. I mean, all the French, Spanish, and Italian references that I'm seeing here make sense, but Japanese is a bit weird, but whatever. And as you may have guessed, his last name, Leonis, means lion, so heart of a lion, Lionheart. He's basically the Squall of Final Fantasy 15. Hashtag Stoop Lionheart confirmed. On to Lunafreya. Just like with Gladio, her full name doesn't mean anything, but as I'm sure that all of you know by now, the shortened version of her name Luna means moon, likely to contrast her old character named Stella, which meant star. And her middle name, unlike her last name Florent, actually does mean something. Nox is another word for night, so night moon or night star shows her connection to Noctis. Now, one thing that I'm really surprised is that they managed to keep naming their sons Regis, Lucis, Calum for 113 generations, but I guess the 113th Regis decided to break the tradition and name his son Noctis instead. Regis is pretty simple. It means king, so yeah, that means that his full name is King, though to be fair, his car, the Regalia, means royalties, and his kingdom, Lucis, well, like we already covered, means light, so at least he passed his middle name on to his son, if that matters. Its capital being Insomnia, aka Sleeplessness, aka the city that never sleeps. Clever, Nomura. Clever. And I guess now is as good a time as any to mention that the capital of Niflheim, Tenebrae, means darkness, so the Dark City, I guess? As for the next one, I will knock out two birds with one stone. As I've mentioned previously, Gentiana is a type of flower, and Cindy/Sydney don't actually mean anything either. It's just this game's version of Sid from previous FF games. Now for the last character with a confirmed name, Idola Aldercapt. His last name, as far as I can tell, doesn't mean anything, but his first name means idol directly, though more specifically that word comes from the Greek word eidolon, and as we all know in the Fabula Nova Crystallis world, eidolons are powerful summons, so maybe he's going to be some kind of summoner. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Either way, that's all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to blitz that like button, subscribe, and as always, stay tuned for all things Final Fantasy.